Greetings, Jedi Traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the weekly technical outlook for week 8 of 2018. As always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only. Support your knowledge in the market, see what's going through my head on any given week. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right, Jedi Traders, week 8. Let's quickly take a look at week 7 recap. Let's jump right into those daily gaps. But before we do that, let's go ahead and jump into last week's technical momentum outlook as posted here on February 11th. Scrolling down to the middle, my own 3 cents, not from the perspective of necessary technical analysis. Week 7, I thought we would be in a decision week. As long as price action bounced off that 200 MA last week, it was whether we would hold upside there. Lower MML levels, nice sweep move at the end of the week, week 7 on Friday. And indecision just as meant much probability to the upside as it meant to the downside. So we had to watch that 200 period moving average. Again, we're dealing with 3 types of traders here. Long term, still holding on to that rebalance in Q2, but for the intraday trader and for the swing trader looking for a momentum move for several days. The intraday trader, it doesn't matter, you got to just be ready in both directions. All right, so there was last week's call, and pretty much showing up on the daily gaps. Exactly so. 200 period moving average here in the green box, indicating week 7 momentum as price action bounced. Now note the 10 period moving average is sitting between the 50 and the 200. So we'll get back into the outlook here in a little bit as far as where that sits technically, but nice bounce right off the 200 MA. Swing trader profiting quite well in week 7 with volume just slightly above 60 period average. Not exactly screaming like it did the week before, but price action moves back up, all-time high sitting all the way above. NQ, same picture, right off the 200 period moving average. That's a daily, again, daily price action only, no overnight, no Globex. Price action in week 5. There was Friday, started out the week Monday. Price action NQ leading the charge here as it marches back up to all-time high on good earnings. YM price action in the box, 5 days, closing up at the 50 period moving average on pretty decent volume above the 60 period moving average. And the ES right back up to the 50. Again, note where the 10 period moving averages are on the indices. So overall, market action respects the 200. Institutional support, YM, I'm sure we got down to the 200, at least on the Globex. But as far as dailies are concerned, all 3 here touch YM within the vicinity, closing out daily gaps in week 7, and no daily gaps closed out or formed in week 7 as we stand. All right, let's take a look at the ES moving averages. Price action there was all the way down, that 200 SMA. So here we have a 24-hour chart, and so we can see that 200 period moving average was hit there on week 7. Week 8 we got the lift, and there we are cruising right back up through all the moving averages. Note in sync, not in sync, price action sitting between the 50 and the 10. So nice pullback, but as far as the question of momentum, I don't believe we're there yet. All right, ES Weekly, taking a look at the pictures as we continue this 15-plus month uptrend as price action, nice indicator as we continue to push up to those MML, those Marine Math level highs. Price action turned around. We had a nice trending HA bar downside. So nice pullback here on a weekly. We did not close above the high of last week. So right now, still decision time. But as far as the weekly pullback off the 200 MA, price action lifts. Still seeking that possible 2,500 downside. But if market is to hold up, obviously we'll return up to this resistance up here. But resistance on the weekly definitely holding at this point. All right, taking a look, excuse me, taking a look at the SPY here. Price action on the upper MMLs. Resistance there in January, pulled back, trending HA bars. Note the MML short term. Found that support at 257.81. Price action in week 5. Week 7 lifted right up here to the MMLs. Note where the 10 EMA is, in between the 50 and the 100, 200 below. So definitely a nice pullback. Still in question whether this is just a pullback for 1 week or whether we continue the downtrend again as moving average is starting to sink in to sinking downside. But overall, still got to look at the weekly picture as the 10 EMA price action on weekly is holding well above. So we got that support at the major support. So again, nice pullback on the weekly, but definitely not topping the high of the previous week. All right, there is our recap as far as the indices are concerned. Let's take a look at some of the ETFs that I monitor for momentum support in the market, starting with the VTI, the Total Stock Market Index. I think we'll see the pretty much similar picture as we just saw in the ES. We get the bounce off the MML lows, price action again, still pretty strong. You got the 200 under the 150 still up above now. We're right there, so it's a little bit decision time, but nice trending HA bars to return us. So for the swing trader, that was a definite watch there as price action came down to the MML support to take the long for the week. Sure enough, that was last Friday. And as long as holding on to the HA bars, trending on the daily, weekly holds up. We got ourselves in a pullback, but I would not make it a confirmed turnaround at this point yet until I see price action lift back up above the 50 and that 10 gets up above the 50 as well. For the intraday trader, it doesn't matter any of these bigger pictures because you're always ready in both directions. And that is primarily our audience here is the intraday trader. So we'll get to some of those charts here momentarily. All right. Taking a look at the FFTY, again, another chart I like to watch, similar picture, IBD 50, fundamental stocks. When we're at the highs, we go higher. A little consolidation on the big picture weekly as we did hold up major support on the shorter term and the longer term. So FFTY holding up. Again, big question, is this just merely a small pullback to average in prices as price action comes down? Sure, this Jedi trader's long-term wish is that we still come down and we get some lower prices. But as far as the swing trader, definitely a moment to watch up here is see if price action will hold here at the 50 and the 100. But again, definitely a pullback here, but not a confirmed back up trend in this trader's view. All right, taking a look at some of the other indicators as well. FDN, again, those tech stocks, very strong, earnings still good. Excellent for the most part, so market's going to react, and there it is, right back to the highs on the FDN. Again, the ETF that I watch for the FANG stocks and other high tech, and still holding strong on the weekly. So momentum definitely strong here on the FDN. As we can see, this is exactly what we want to see back on the indices. We want to see the 10 back above the 50 in sync with the other moving averages, and price action right back upside and breakout of the highs as well. Taking a look at the VIX. Again, VIX definitely coming down from that 45 that was in the previous week 6 down to 29. So we're hanging in the high teens here, low 20s in week 7. So the concern, not the concern here, but what I'm watching is definitely we have a downside in the VIX as we have for most of 2017. As we know that the VIX was at the lows. It was within the region of the 9s and 10s, averaging out for the most of the year. So that gives us a momentum of downside. We could see the 50 below the 100, below the 200. It's the 10 and some large volatility in the last couple of weeks. Price action lifted there to the highs, to the MML highs, and then pulled back to look at the support there. So again, as we start getting here into the outlook, we'll want to see either that support here. If that support holds, we come back upside, then we're going to look for lower prices in the market. If price action continues the downtrend, as it has been on the weekly, nothing more than a pullback here, as VIX comes down, then we'll see that support off the 200 continue back up to the all-time high. So really, for the VIX, we're at a decision time, but definitely turn around at the MMLs. A little bit more downside, major support. I'm watching the trending HA bars here on the daily. So 2 indecision bars followed by 3 trending HA bars gives me an indicator that perhaps there's more for the VIX to come down here, which would obviously send stock prices up. But again, whether the two really work together anymore, I'm not so sure on that. The jury's out on that. But as far as the VIX is concerned, that's where we're standing. All right, taking a look at the dollar absolutely returning to its downtrend. So here's another good indicator. As you guys just saw that chart on the VIX, you can always get a nice healthy pullback and then resume its downtrend, which 200, notice the moving average is in sync to the downside here. That's exactly what we got both on a daily and a weekly. So again, we're dollar back downside. Again, another decision. We're returning another triple bottom here, at least on the daily. We'll want to see lower support, but for several weeks now, we were calling or watching these levels, and we said, yep, more to the downside. So is this where we hold? If we hold here, then we'll obviously see the momentum in price action in the market. So we'll see the MML levels drawn larger on the bigger time frames if price action does continue downside, but definitely trending downside, but at support levels. So this is, again, another week to watch in the market. All right, taking a look at last chart, the commodities. I do have one more. The commodities from the Bloomberg index. Let's take a look at the Bloomberg right now. Here's the Bloomberg actually in trend. Notice most of the commodities trending down under the index as grains and petroleum still sitting above the baseline here, but this has been a trend since quite a while. Well, not too long here, as this is only a 30-day chart, but price action is definitely pulling back since mid-December on the commodity index in the bigger picture. But right now, definitely downtrend. But as we can see here, DJP on the ETF and the commodity index, again, another pullback like we've seen in most of the pictures today in a downtrend. We have the right now 100, 250. So at least on the HA bars, you're getting that nice drive down here that you can see in the market as it pushes down. And my battery just happened to decide to switch out right now. So let's go ahead and quickly switch that out. Apologies. And we need two batteries. Anyway, so as we see here on the DJP, as you look at the chart, price action lifting up to that 50 MA. So again, the indicator is still that we're in an uptrend in the market. Overall, even with this deeper pullback. So for the swing trader, the MML level is giving a good pullback. But as far as where we're headed from here on the commodity index, we saw the picture on the just now recently on the commodity index here as they're trending downside. For the DJP, again, the downtrend here, as we could see the two relating there, off the MML highs, looks like possible more movement downwards. But got to watch these levels here. Perhaps we'll test this upper resistance on the short term. But definitely a pullback in the bigger picture. As long as that 50, 100, 200 is in sync to the upside, nothing more than a pullback at this point. So maybe, and hopefully perhaps on the commodity index, we'll see a return of those levels back upside. All right, taking a look at the advancers, decliners, price action again bouncing off that low last week. And as long as the advancers, decliners are in sync with the overall Dow index and they're not in two different directions, we definitely could say that as if you're watching this week, you would say that market is definitely back in an uptrend, which tends to go along with the transports and the industrials. I think we're seeing the similar picture on all the charts here. Nice healthy pullback from the MML highs to the lows off support. Bounce back up. They're in sync, and that lifted. That's what we saw in week 7. So when I put all these charts together and I look at these from the beginning of the week and I say, all right, where are we headed next week? I definitely could say we had a nice healthy pullback. I can definitely, with clear indications, say that HA bars were showing direction, at least for the swing position here. Again, I'll reaffirm, intraday trader, you got to be ready for both directions. But as far as where was momentum last week, it all lined up. That pullback off the 200 period moving average. And then when I line up all the charts that I've been showing here, FFTY and the VTI and the dollar downside and the host of charts that I'm showing, including the FDN back up to the highs, the transports back upside, the NIAD and the Indu back upside, that was momentum for the week, and that's where we were headed. All right, so having said that, I believe we've covered all the charts, commodity index, XFDN. Changing those batteries threw me off. I apologize. There was one more chart I wanted to go ahead and show you. Something I've been starting to watch lately, which is the LDRS. The LDRS, which is the ETF for the, here we go, for the ETF Leaders. They're through the IBD 50, so add that to your list of indices to watch, or at least charts to watch. Again, not enough time here to get moving averages, so it'll take a couple months here, but again, nice movement on the ETF. IBD 100% invested, market in a confirmed uptrend, price action off the MML lows, again using those longer time frames, HA bars to indicate trend, and there we are. So we're trending back upside. So another indicator in week 7 that price action lifted really nicely. All right, we took a little extra time there on the recap, but hopefully you guys will put that together. Go ahead and check out the post here on my website here at the week 7 2018 recap. All right, let's jump into where we're headed here in week 8 as technical momentum still remains in a pullback here. And my key concern in watching where the markets are is that I want to see obviously price action, well, on the indices especially, is price action to lift back above that 200 period move. Well, we already lifted above the 200. Let's get the chart up so it'll make sense here. Here we can see we lifted above that 200, but it's these key moving averages. I'm watching the 50s. The NQ's already there. All right, so obviously we'll watch that NQ to see, do we lift higher to the all-time high, or do we come back to some support downside? So right now I want to watch that 10-period moving average on all the 3 moving averages here. I want to see price action obviously lift above that 50. Right now this Jedi trader still a little concerned that those aren't in sync. Maybe this is just a 1-week pullback. Maybe we'll get 2 weeks out of this. I don't know. We'll see. But if it is, that's the way the market rolls. Swing traders, you'll obviously be quietly rewarded for the hold long term. And as far as the intraday, you're always ready in both directions. Long term, we're going to just rebalance, see where the market goes. Anything can happen in the next month. They're Jedi traders, so price action can definitely still return. And if we're still holding on, price action lifts back up high. You're in a good position. All right. Let's take a look at crude heading into week 8 here. Crude, a little bit of a descent here in the last couple weeks, coming off those highs of 65, but got that bounce. And where'd that bounce come from? There it is, weekly. MML 59.38 down here both on a daily and a weekly. So look at upside here to major support 62.50. See if we can get back up to that resistance. Price action will definitely need to lift back above the 50, but right now momentum slightly edged to the downside is 10 holding underneath the 50. But overall big picture is if we scroll down, we got the 200 period moving average downside. So we're just nothing more than a nice deep correction on crude itself. So still momentum, a little bit troubling here. The momentum currently to the downside, possibly a retest of 62.50 or return back down to the support lows if unable to break above the 50. All right, taking a look at the ES rolling into week 8. Price action off the MML lows on the short term, a little bit of back resistance back upside. Again, I thought we'd retest that 2,500 downside, and that's where I thought we would be going. But obviously, we're not there yet. Price action back up to the 50. Mid-range moving averages sitting between the 50 and the 200. So off the lows, resistance right there at the 50. We'll see how week 8 plays. If we're able to break this upside, we'll watch that 10 to walk along with it. We'll get back up to those higher resistance levels up here to 28.12. Otherwise, we'll see if we can go back and retest this short term 26.56 and then down to 2,500. Taking a look at the GC on the gold. Price action lifts off above that 50. Nice trend upside. We've talked about that so clear here. 13.12.5. Gold really playing by the MML levels off 12.50 back in December. It's been holding up. So I'm looking at 13.75 here on gold as momentum is holding 10.50 above the 200. And again, any pullback on gold will always retest these lower MML levels, starting with the 50, 13.24, which would put us down near the support here on the daily. All right, taking a look at the NQ Tech, streaming ahead here. Price action off the 200. holding above. Want to see that 10 break above that 50, get all those charts in the green here as price action. There it is, 62.50. Nice support off the MML dailies and mid-range, long-term range here as well, or actually short-term on the weekly, held up upside. So nice just short-term correction. Again, my bigger picture, go back to last week's outlook, is that we still have more upside to this market, but as long that correction will come at some point, we'll take care of those daily gaps, but obviously market wasn't ready for that in week 7. All right, taking a look ahead on the RTY. Russell still price action back upside to the 50, testing that 50-10, sitting in below. Again, MML support, 200 period moving average, all lining up for a nice swing back upside. Swing traders, you can benefit from this, and pushes up. And so momentum definitely on a pullback, but no confirmed uptrend yet. We'll want to watch that 50. We are trending back upside, but we're definitely not all in the green. Momentum is downside in the red on the higher time frame on the range charts, 100-tick chart. So keep an eye on the RTY Russell there. Again, we might go ahead and test that upper level, 1562 up to 1609. Any pullback will retest those lower support levels on the Russell. All right, last one, YM. Been enjoying the YM intraday. Price action, nice, good sweeping move up to the 50, 10 sitting in between the two moving averages. Off the MML lows on the daily. Weekly found that support down here, 23,438. And so testing upside, watch up to 25,684. Any higher, we'll get back up to those highs, up to 563. We got to break through that 50. That 10's got to follow. For the intraday trader, it doesn't matter. You're ready in both directions. All right, taking a look ahead as we roll into week 8 on the economic calendar. We have earnings. We have FOMC minutes coming out on, let's get the right week here. There we go. FOMC minutes on Wednesday. We got multiple Fed speakers. We have Britain with GDP, Japan, and Canada with CPI numbers in week 8. Q4 earnings, we got Walmart, Home Depot, and First Solar. Tesla already reported. And as far as sectors, we got oil, gas, we got grocers, and we have the restaurant sectors reporting this week. Right now, the technical probability let me go ahead and just show that to you quickly. If you check out my technical momentum each week and you scroll down here at the bottom right here, I give a balance of things that I'm watching, the ETFs that we've been talking about. I balance them on both sides, so it's possible I might see VIX up top, I'll see VIX down below, those leading to the technical probability that the market will lead up or lead down. As far as right now, taking a look at my chart that I'll post here, is more technical probability might be leaning on the uptrend at this point. But again, another decision week for us in the market, as we definitely don't have a fully confirmed back uptrend. But again, we've seen a lot of technical support that price action has moved back upside. All right, Jedi traders, that is an in-depth look from this trader's perspective of where we were this last week, where we're headed this week. Hopefully you got something out of that. As far as updates, what's looking ahead here, live futures trading challenge with Infinity Futures was put on hold here, so start date will be rescheduled. Make sure you check that out, livetradingchallenge.com, a great opportunity to not only get some cash results for your platforms, but if you're interested in learning more about Infinity Futures, this is a great opportunity to start using their platform. New videos this week posted there on my YouTube channel. Check out Heiken Ashi bars, Flex Renko, what's it all about? So make sure you check that out if you're interested in understand what we've been using for several years now. It gives you an in-depth tutorial of how I set them up and what are the differences in the combination, as well as the STree Strategy, setting the bars to Heiken Ashi. Again, a video, let me go ahead and pull that up. The STree Strategy was a recent video I did for Infinity Futures, the selective scalp strategy in markets that are choppy, or great way for any beginning trader to start out. And you can check out that video here on my page or at the Infinity Futures webinar page. Again, highlighted images of the strategy. This strategy has been automated. Here you can click on Forgiving Computers, local member of our trading room, Brad Hauser, who's taken Our trading strategy has automated it, as well as working on the T3. So a lot of great information there. If you want to know more information, you can go ahead and email me, contact me. And that STree Strategy, again, the T3 strategy, which you're all familiar with, trending HA bars. There's a nice sell-off there. Price action on the Heiken Ashi bars under the range cloud. Well, you know what it looks like is learning to hold on to a trade like that. That's where the HA bars come in play. Sometimes those long wicks, trade management can take you out. I get it. So where else can you start? You can use the STree Strategy, which is another opportunity in the market, to multiple entries in a day, where you get trending arrows to give you the setup. You can get in, out. You can look for a runner. Again, a great opportunity to learn how to find those momentum moves on the turnaround. So STree Strategy, a great way to create some discipline in the market. Chart after chart, you can take a look, whether it's on the Globex. You can use minute charts, day charts, 4-hour charts. You can use range charts. You can use volume bars, which it was originally written on, and now I've adapted it to the Heiken Ashi bars. And so here is a perfect view of what that looks like in an intraday session, where you can use both strategies. You don't have everything in sync. Price action lifts off the bottom. It gives you an S3 setup down here at the lows on an S3 chart. The automation is an opportunity for not to just let it run, but the S3 strategy is an opportunity for you to get in at the lows, not at the lows, but to get you in right at the price, monitoring the auto trade. But you don't just walk away and say, all right, it's just going to trade for me. It gives you that edge of that entry right away before you hit the manual. So S3 strategy you can see here at the lows, and then finally when everything's in sync, again, it's another S3 strategy up here, but the T3 moving average with everything in sync puts you in and gives you that runner that some of you look for as well. So both systems working well together. If you're interested in the S3 strategy, you want to see it happening live action in the trading day, feel free to email me, David at Trading Fibs. We can get you in the trading room on any Thursday or Friday to view the live chart setups as they happen each day. All right, Jedi traders, if you're interested in more information as we wrap up this session here, feel free to check me out at Trading Fibs, my website, or follow me on Twitter every day. One simple strategy, any market, any chart, any time frame will keep you disciplined, whether it's the S3 or the T3. And we're all in watching what's in front of me on our charts. Intraday, got to be ready in both directions. Always, we leave the bias at the door when trading. All right, we've covered all the charts. We've covered all the tabs as we lead into week 8. I wish you all a great week. Have yourselves a Blue Zone day, a Blue Zone week, and wherever you may be, my name is David from Trading Fibs. Hey guys, enjoy the last week of the Olympics, and until then, have yourselves a good day, a good night, and good trading to you.